It's the dawn of a new age in Europe. During the early 15th century, universities are being established to challenge the influence of religion on academic studies. Little did the founders of these institutions know that this would ignite academic pursuits that would bring about a cultural revolution. I feel like there should be an exclamation point there, but there's not. And rarely is it a good time to use an exclamation point. Like 0% of work emails require those. Would you guys agree?
I actually use exclamation points kind of a lot in work emails.
To clients or to like...
Oh, internal. I don't talk to clients. I'm only internal. I'm enthusiastic to help them.
That's okay. No, but that's kind of your personality, so I'd say that's fair from you. That makes sense with Jake, I think. I would like that from Jake. In the early Renaissance, players will serve as headmasters of an emerging university. Your obvious goal is to become the most successful and prestigious institution for higher learning. To achieve these goals, you must attract exceptional students, the best teaching staff in various disciplines, and exchange knowledge with other competing schools. Enjoy the upcoming semester!
Today
There's
on
the exclamation point they used. Sorry.
Today on the Board Boys.
Alma Mater.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Board Boys podcast, Season 17, Episode 2. Tonight on the docket, Alma Mater from Egertspiel. This is your Board Boy, Graduation Rob.
Not your board boy Tim.
This is your board boy, Jake the Enlightener.
And this is your board boy, Schoolio, a.k.a. Cam, a.k.a. Boinker McDoinker, a.k.a. Big Daddy Cam.
I do like that. Schoolio.
Schoolio.
Yeah, I was a big fan of that.
That works.
Do you have scoliosis?
Yeah, I got scoliosis.
Scoliosis.
So what does Alma mean? Mater means mother, right? Alma Mater.
Yeah, so other mother. No?
Yeah, brother from another mother. That's your other. Is mater Latin? I don't even know if it is. I'm going Latin to English in. Oh, mother. Okay, there we go. Alma.
So not Tim. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
What's your real name?
I like not Tim.
Okay, well, we'll just call you not Tim all episode.
I like this. Yeah, it's Joe.
Joe from if you remember the massive 2-player episode.
Which was a great time.
A long time ago. He's back. Was I right? Was it mother?
Well, mater is mother. I knew mater was mother.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying what's Alma? And it's nourishing mother, which must be the root of the word alms as well, right?
Yes.
There we go. We did our studying for the day.
Welcome to the Dictionary Podcast with Board Boy Cam.
And there are dictionaries in this game.
There are.
Who most recently took a test? I took one yesterday.
So it's going to be you.
Maybe you guys did too. I just had to do some training.
I did not take a test
I have not
yesterday.
taken a test recently, no.
They would never call it a test at work. They would call it a quiz.
Oh.
A test seems too intense.
Oh, so you're one of those jobs.
Yeah.
I call them assessments on our learning management system that I
That is
run.
the word I was trying to think
Actually, in
of.
finance, I think we call them exams. So,
Excellent.
but what was I going to say? Oh, that's why my book was the best, is because I most recently took the test.
Must be it.
I had the best book tonight.
Must feel good. Can't believe you've been playing any games?
Yeah, I've been playing a few games. I'm trying to think, because I missed the last 2 episodes, right? Oh, no, I was in the most recent one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
The 2 before that you missed, though.
I did miss 2 before that.
Yeah, no, we had the whole the quartet there for the last one.
Yeah, we did. That was awesome.
Roth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roth. I'm trying to think of how that... I liked that game, I think. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, cool graphics. It's been a long couple of weeks, hasn't it, guys?
It has been, and we are live here tonight at Dungeons Gate.
She.
Dungeons Gate, come here if you live in Ankeny for all your board gaming needs.
Even if you don't live in Ankeny, still come here for all your board gaming needs.
Sponsored by Dungeons Gate. All right.
So
continue on.
Are we going to start just going straight into what we've played? Oh yeah, we're going to do a quick one.
Yeah, man.
The one that's coming most to mind right now is Hutan, Life in the Rainforest. I played a bunch of games of that on BGA.
How do you spell that?
Hutan.
Okay.
Hutan, Life in the Rainforest. And it's a very, it's deceptively boring puzzle game. So what you're doing is...
I'm sold.
No, but I'm saying it looks boring, but it's deceptively fun.
Okay. You brought me back in.
Yeah.
That's way different.
Sorry, so what it is you just have a grid of little islands that look like they're in Hawaii or rainforest or something. I think the reason I think it's kind of Hawaii is because you're collecting 5 colors of flowers, which kind of looks Hawaiian to me. Basically, you deal out...
Are you making lays?
No, you're planting flowers in the rainforest. Oh. But you deal out these cards that have flowers on them, and you deal out like one less than 2 times the number of players, and then you always have like a first player token that like somebody can pick instead of taking a card. So in the turn, everybody's gonna get two actions, and you get 9 turns in the game. So you basically get 18 things across the course of the game. What you're doing is you're picking the cards, and the card might have like a yellow and a black flower on it. When you take the card, you get to play. You can play your first, couple flowers wherever, but then you got to build out orthogonally for the rest of the game. All of the islands like butt up against each other orthogonally. So when you place a flower, if I place one down, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep like each of my islands with like just having one color of flower. But when I build out a card, I have to build the flowers adjacent to each other while respecting orthogonal building. So like if I get a yellow and a black flower, and I don't want to build those two on the same island, so I have to find creative ways to like build around. The way you get points is if you get like basically you lose points by starting an island and not finishing it. Starting an island, but it has more than one color of flower on it. You gain points from filling out an island with all flowers, but then if you start building the same kind of flowers on top of the flowers you have already, you get to place trees instead. And if you get all trees on an island, then you get like an animal. And that animal gives you a bunch of points, and it explodes all of your orthogonal areas, so you can place like more flowers. And so what you're trying to make a couple islands really nice, but you start having to make more difficult choices because as the game goes on, you're like running out of space to like, oh, I don't care about this. And if you start a new island and don't finish it, you like lose points. So, and it's like, it's not as long as you think it's going to be because you only get 9 turns. So if you like spatial puzzles, this one is kind of like Cascadia for me in that it's not stressful. Like you just pick a card and you're like, oh, I can build here. And it's not like Calico where you're like, this has to be absolutely perfect because you're never going to fill your whole set of islands. So I would definitely get it for the people who enjoy like chill puzzling. There's still a lot of like thinky gameplay because you're trying to like maximize your points, but you don't get that like rut where you have 3 choices of like patches that all like bork your scoring objectives completely. So Hutan, Life in the Rainforest, played on BGA, very fun.
Did we play this in person at Capital City Game Conference?
I think it's brand new.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so too. And I've never played it, but except on BGA.
Okay. Well, I thought I played it with you, so then I definitely haven't played this.
Do we play Gnome Hollow?
We played Gnome Hollow.
Yeah. But we also played one where you're setting flowers in specific spaces and
was it one of my
like
games?
on islands? Yeah, I think so.
Huh?
Could have been one of Rob's. I don't
feel
know.
like
we
that's
spent a lot of
Gnome
time
Hollow.
hanging out.
Gnome Hollow, you're building those like
No.
rings of flowers.
Look, this is why I should never be on this podcast because I can never remember the name of any board game I've ever played.
Because now we have a quiz.
It's the most fun thing when you're like, hey Joe, do you want to play this? Like, sure, I've never played it, but he has.
Joe did, I want to say. Cam brought up Darwin's Journey, and Joe knew exactly what game that was.
Yeah.
It's because
sure
it's
did.
the only one where you haven't like a little like actual action figure of Charles Darwin walking around the board.
There's
And
a lot of Darwin games lately,
Yeah.
I feel like. So
That's
that might
fair.
might not be true.
Maybe I didn't play Darwin's Journey then.
No,
Does
you
Darwin
did.
walk around the board in Darwin's
Also,
Journey?
we don't let Joe play the same game more than once.
That's also true.
That's true. I'll get way
Yeah.
too good if I play a game twice.
Yeah, I may have another or two, but I'll pass it along to somebody else while I chew on it.
The last game I played was Roth, so I don't have anything to contribute. Someday, when I don't travel as much as I'm traveling, I will be able to play board games again.
Sounds great.
So,
Games I've been playing lately. I guess I haven't played anything I'm sure you guys haven't already talked about on here. Excellent games that I've been playing lately. Clank Legacy.
Yeah.
How's season
We
2?
we haven't actually talked about that on the podcast yet. We
Is-
are probably halfway through.
Is it better than season 1 or is it like the same? Just different?
It's different. It's got some newer, different stuff, and I don't really want to spoil anything.
No, that's fine. Because I'll play it one day.
But it's just as enjoyable as season 1, I feel like. Also, I don't think you need to have played season 1 to enjoy season 2.
I can confirm that because I've never played a game of Clank before I started playing Clank Legacy Season 2.
It's true. He jumped right into Legacy.
It's excellent. 10 out of 10.
Fun fact, I only played one game of Season 1 Clank Legacy, but that was my first Clank experience. It was with Cam.
Oh, really?
And I am
We
playing...
never finished it.
We didn't. And then I'm playing Clank Legacy 2 right now with my mom. So
Oh, you picked that up?
I did pick it up
Is
for
she
her.
enjoying it?
She is enjoying it, although we've only played one game, and I need to get back over there.
Did you figure out the question you
I
asked me?
did, and we did a minor thing wrong that I think
Okay.
probably wouldn't have swung things too much, but
Gotcha.
I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to
You
playing
were
it again.
texting me about something. I'm like, I think you didn't.
It was the
open
marking the
something.
cards. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I still don't know that I 100% understand all of that, but it's been a minute now, so I need to go back and
Basically, if you mark your card with a sticker, you get and it has a scratch off on it, you can scratch.
Yeah, but in the future, those cards go back into the deck, right?
Yeah.
So,
Correct.
but what does it matter then if I have a mark on a card that's in there?
Because,
it'll matter.
It'll matter in
Okay,
the future.
I just haven't gotten to that yet.
Yes.
Good to know.
Yeah, it'll certainly matter.
Marks
in the
will
future.
matter very
Yeah.
much so.
Should I do my other one before you go on your run?
Go ahead. I just have 3 that I'm going to hit.
Should I do one more? Do you
Do
want? Should we do a sandwich? We could do a sandwich.
You want a sandwich?
Let's do a sandwich.
All right. I've got 3, 2 of which I've played a ton of, and one I've played once, so I'm probably going to revisit it. But it's one of the bigger games out right now. The one I played a bunch is called Spooktacular, and it is from Level 99 Games. The designer is D. Brad Talton Jr., and the artist is Javier Roa Gonzalez. In Spooktacular, you play as one of 20 silver screen horror movie monsters.
Such as the Moon Man
Sure.
and Killer Boy.
Yes.
Killer Boy.
There is a killer
Killer Boy,
car,
of
so
course.
you're like driving
Oh.
your car around the
Christine,
thing.
right? Is that Christine?
Yeah, or you can be the Blob, or
Or like a blob, so that it's not trademarked.
there's a bunch of different ones. But
I
the
feel like
game-
that's got to be in
the
public
game
domain
has
by now, right?
You're probably right.
dirt simple rules. I mean, there's rules for how you move, how you scare people. When you scare people through the doorways of the theater, you get points, and how you consume people. And when you consume the meeples, once you get a set, you turn them in for a ticket, which is end game points. And that's the whole game. Now, the rub is everyone plays the game differently. So every monster has their own different turn order and a special ability on their thing. So I may play a card first, then move to do my special thing, then maybe do something else, and then draw back up to 3 cards. And then you may do something different. And then we all have the same 5 basic cards. And then everyone has maybe some extra components that you use. Like there's a fish that goes around and puts extra doors around there. And anybody that gets scared outside the theater using their doors, they get to consume them. The car drives around, gets some extra movement, and can pick up passengers. And then when they get a full set of picked up, every time they pick up a different color, I should mention there's different colors of meeples and they activate different abilities for different monsters sometimes. This game is near infinitely replayable, I think, just due to 20 different monsters, and they all play differently. You play till 50 points or until the stack of tickets are gone, so games are less than 45 minutes. It is one where I could definitely see you playing it once and just re-racking it real quick and playing it again with different guys.
So first thing
And
about
like the art is really tight. I showed you pictures.
yeah, we thought it looked like the slasher party game that you like to play.
Yeah, Bo's favorite game of
Yeah, like Secret Murder Mystery House or something like that.
Murder Party Assassin, Costume Party Assassin,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
This sounds like a must play for Spooktober.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It is so fun.
First thing about this dude, D. Brad Talton Jr., is like how crazy that this dude's name isn't D. Brad or T. Brad Dalton Jr. That would sound better, right? T. Brad Dalton versus D. Brad Talton, right?
I don't think you got to pick, man.
Okay.
Second is none of you guys are going to get this reference, but just for the person on the podcast out there, this guy has like extreme Mike Winger vibes for people who know who Mike Winger is. For those of you who don't know who he is he's a like a famous like YouTube personality who does like apologetics and
Is this when I should? Is this a good thing?
yeah, he's a good thing. Like he,
All right.
yeah,
Well,
he's
maybe
a-
I'll bring it up because I think I'm going to meet him at Gen Con.
yeah, like I'll show. Well, yeah, when we take a break, I'll show you guys a picture of Mike Winger, and you'll be. But like, I mean, if the guy is like a major like Fedora Redditor, like super atheist, you might not like to look like Mike Winger, but
Okay.
I think anybody else would be like, okay, I don't know who that is, or
Well, let me get into the second one that we played a ton of. It is called Hot Streak, and it is from John Perry, and the publisher is CMYK Games. And in Hot Streak, the tagline is, which mascot will cross the finish line first? Who will be DQ'd? And the rule book literally says you're playing as a bunch of degenerate gamblers betting on mascot races. That is the whole game.
I love this game.
The game is small. It's got 4 pre-painted cool miniatures. One I call our Burger Queen. There's like a fish guy. There's a hot dog man. And there's like a giant bear. And the board actually, you pull the board out of the box and it like unrolls on there. And then what happens is you deal everybody 3 cards. There's 4 starting cards in the game that kind of all help each character. And then depending on the number of players, you deal out enough other cards. So once everyone gets to add 1 card to the deck, there'll be 18 total cards in this deck. Okay? Before you add the cards to the deck, though, you get to look to see what the deck looks like, and then we're going to go around and snake draft betting chips. So you can bet if you think someone's going to get first, who's going to win. And if you're really sure about this person winning, you can flip it to the risky side, and you get more if they get first, but you get less if they get second or third place. And then there's also a prop bet every time, so you can take the yes or no bet on the prop bet. So after you snake draft and you get 2 of these things, then everyone adds in 1 card face down, you shuffle the deck up, you burn 3 cards, and you just start flipping cards. And the cards are either going to move the people forward, move them backwards, make them fall down, make them turn around, make them go extra far, make them swerve. If they run in, if one mascot runs into another one, it knocks them down. If they run off the board, they're disqualified. If they run off the back of the board, they're disqualified. If they get knocked down when they're already knocked down, they get disqualified. And then basically as soon as everyone's crossed the finish line or got DQ'd, you pay out the money.
This sounds so fun.
And you do this 3 times. It is the most fun racing game I've ever played in my entire life.
This sounds
What's the
like
name one more time?
It is called Hot Streak. I have
Hot
it here.
Streak.
I'll show you the
Yeah.
stuff. It is hilarious, and it takes like 20 minutes. And you do that same thing 2 more times, and so you kind of know what the deck's like. But the thing is, everyone gets dealt a card back out of the deck, and then everyone adds in another card for the next race. So the deck can kind of change every time. And then the third time, one of your 2 bets you pick is a 2x. So you put that one on the top, and you get double whatever that is. And the real fun thing that Bo loves is the back of the rule book. Based on how much money you made, there's like a little story of what happened to you as a gambler.
nice. I like it.
And it has like everything from $0 to $100. There's like literally an entry for every dollar between then. Hot Streak.
Yeah, that sounds like one to check out for
It's
sure.
super fun. Oh, sorry, Cam. I didn't let you do the sandwich.
No, the sandwich is going to be me at the end. I'm like the final. I
I
did the top bun
right.
and the bottom.
You guys
bun.
are doing like a quasi club.
This is
where
like an
they're
Arby's
pieces of
deluxe
bread.
triple stack.
Last one.
Roast beef that Rob's doing.
I'm going to talk about Vantage from Stonemeyer Games. Designer Janie Stegmeyer. Publisher Stonemeyer Games. Vantage is thousands of cards in a box. Joe, you are going to love this game. It is very much like Tales for Arthurian Knights.
Oh, dude, I love that game.
Only there's a little less reading. Basically, we're all crash landing on a planet, and you get a card in front of you. And on that card, there's 6 different things you can do. And you can only do one thing on every card every game. So like, I land on the planet, and then maybe I pick and then they're all color coded. And then depending on what color, you might be better or worse at doing things. And you have this dice pool. You always succeed at what you're doing, but you have to roll dice. And depending on how well you've kitted out your guy, you might be able to absorb some of the dice. Or if you roll well, like nothing happens and they go back to the board. But you can eventually have to lose stats. And if it's a cooperative game, so if anybody's stat hits 0, you lose. There's an objective you're aiming for, but you're kind of just meandering. So like if you're not into just like a little bit of storytelling, it is the mechanisms in this game feel gamier than Arthurian Knights.
Okay.
But the ending feels way more arbitrary. Like there's other ways the game can end, but the biggest plus for this game that I can say was it was 2 hours in. It was pretty late, and I think that's kind of why we decided to end it. But like the rulebook literally says like if you do an alternate ending, you'd be like, if you don't want to stop, don't stop. Just keep going until like you finish the main thing.
This sounds like a game I would play for 15 straight hours.
This is a game, especially if you are a solo player, this is probably like one of the ultimate solo games you can play. In Stonemeyer fashion, this goes up to 6. I would jab my eyes out with a needle if I played this with more than 3 or 4 players. So there is that, because this would be a sick 2-player game because you're either always making choices or reading something to somebody and they're making choices. But there's not nearly as much reading as Tales of Arthurian Knights, but the writing is still pretty good in this. Like, for instance, I landed on a planet, I jumped through a portal, I started digging into the ground, and then I just kept digging deeper into the ground. And then I kept having choices like, and then I dug deeper and I found a dungeon, and then I dug even deeper and I found this crystal. And I just took the crystal. So I had this really cool crystal item. Yeah, it was hilarious because I'm like, well, obviously I'm going to keep digging till I get to the center of the earth.
This is perfect. Yeah, no, I would. This absolutely sounds like it's right up my alley.
Yeah.
Like exactly the type of game I like to play.
It's super fun. I know Ben has the copy that I played, but it's a game where you can be playing in 5 minutes and just
Nice.
kind of learn as you go.
These all sound like really fun games you played
Yeah, like
last week.
Vantage I was kind of iffy on this one, but like I think it'd be really fun even just to play with Bo because it just is story and it's not hard. And you can like help each other out, like, oh, I can hold your dice for you because I've got an open slot kind of thing.
Yeah.
Vantage.
Yeah. So I've played. I don't know if it's out yet, but Pergola. Is that how you say pergola? The word pergola.
You talked about this last time.
Did I talk about pergola last time?
did.
Okay, then I don't need to talk about it again.
You also asked if that's how you say the word last time.
That is exactly how it started.
Okay.
You said it right this time, though.
Yeah, because I said pergola last time.
Something, yeah.
Okay, well, I talked about that one already. That's good that I already talked about that one. Because now we can get to the review. You know what came to the board game arena alpha is Tekken, the board game, and unfortunately you can't play as Bob. If you guys know who Bob is in Tekken,
I know who Bob is. Dude, Tekken used to be my game.
Tekken was my game too. Who's your favorite character?
Ooh, I like Yoshimitsu, but I'm probably gonna say Eddie Gordo because as soon as I'm
Because you're
upside
a cheeser.
as soon as I'm upside down, nobody can touch you.
Yeah, that's whack. You know, when I first started playing, I thought it was really funny to be Xiao Yu, the little Chinese girl.
Oh yeah,
Which I'm sure she's like way popular now with like weebs.
yeah.
But like when I was a kid, people thought it was stupid that I was being her. And then I would do the move where she does a backflip and jumps onto your head and smacks you in the head. And people would be like, well, that's cool.
Good move. That's a good move. Yeah.
But I always like Yoshimitsu. How he could stab people.
Yeah.
That's
I
pretty
mean,
fun.
he's also like the only character that can regen health if you don't attack him. You just sit down on the other side.
He can turn around and regen health too.
Yeah, he can. Yeah.
And then he can stab through himself and into you.
Yeah.
Dude, that Kazuya, that combo that what hits you with all four of his, like he has like a left punch, right kick, left kick is so good too. Anyway, Tekken. But the board game, it's just Jin versus Kazuya, which is kind of lame to me.
They're setting the stage for all the expansions that are eventually going to release.
I don't know if the game's going to have any expansions. It seems pretty boring so far, but
Okay.
ask Ichabod and Australian Jordan what they think about it in the Discord, because I'm playing a game with each of them. So Jordan messaged me the other day. And he's like, "Oh, dude, I really messed up," and I was like, "That's cool. I actually don't know how to play this game." So
if you only had two characters, I would say it's probably going to be Jin versus True Ogre is what my thought would be in the end. But if you run through any of the storyline, that's what you always end up fighting True Ogre at the end. So
but like who are like the most popular characters? Or like, I mean, they made Jin the main guy, and Kazuya was the main guy before Jin was the main guy, which is, I mean, that's honestly, in a fighting game, pretty cool move to make the hero of your first two games the villain of the rest of the games.
Yeah, that's a good call.
That is like, that's pretty cool. Although he's kind of like an afterthought now, because they sort of gave it back to Hayachi after that, and then then it's like, it's all just about like, it's like every new Tekken game you fight like the next grandpa up. It's like
basically, yeah.
They're all. That's what the whole fighting like your great grandpa.
When you said there was something that came to BGA Alpha, I was sure you were going to talk about how TI came to BGA Alpha.
Oh, we've talked about that.
Have you?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a mess. Hopefully it'll be good, but like, should I just rip the Band-Aid off and say like, because of what we found out about like the limitations of Board Game Arena that they're not really willing to like mess with, I don't have a great outlook for the longevity of TI ever being played on this system, because of like, it's such a social game. Like the dude who made Twilight Wars can like make it however he wants, so people can communicate with each other, and when he needs to make a change, he can make a change. On Discord, it's like absolutely free form. You can do whatever you want. So like when you have this limitation at BGA, like it's really nice. Like it will have the nicest UI, I think, out of all of them. Like it looks really good already, but if you can't, like if they aren't willing to like break some of BGA's conventions to let you sort of do things independently and get a little freaky with the timing, like it's I don't think it's ever going to pan out, which is too bad, because this guy's clearly put so much work into it and it really looks good. So any thoughts on that from you guys who have tried it?
No, I mean, it seemed decent for the first round we played, and then it broke.
It just fell apart. Yeah, that happened with the other game we were into, and
it's an alpha.
That's alpha for you.
Yeah.
But like the problem is like when you have an alpha game of like a Roland Wright or something like that, you can be like, hey, this ability doesn't work on my card or whatever, and they'll be like, oh, we'll fix that. But when like you have a game breaking bug for like a game that takes like hours to play live, it's like, I'm sure it's just like And to find all of them is just crazy. It's the hugest undertaking. I can't believe they just have one person working on it. Go, this guy. Like, he's really given it the old, like, his best work. And it's really impressive for like a one-man project. But
I really thought you were going to say give it the college try, and that was going to be a perfect segue. But that's. But
I was going to say that, but then I was like, it's not the college try because he has succeeded in doing something like I think pretty impressive. It's just. Like, so I didn't want to like downplay what he's done. I think it's just like one of those things where it's so undoable because of the conventions of BGA that it's like it's not his fault that it's gonna, I think, be really messed up. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it.
So what are your thoughts on Alma Mater? I guess we should play and find out.
That's a good segue, Joe. Thank you.
Nailed it.
You should take over my spot as the original board boy.
All right, well, tonight on the podcast, we played Alma Mater from Eggerspiel. The designer is Flaminia Brissini, Archictoca, Virginio Gili, Stefano Laperto, and Antonio Tinto. It is currently ranked 1,170th overall, 634th strategy. It came out in 2020, just about 5 years ago, I guess, because I'm pretty sure it was a Gen Con release. It is 7.3, 2 to 4 players, best at 4, 90 to 150 minutes, ages 12 plus. Weight is 3.75 out of 5. Jake, why don't you tell us what we do in Alma Mater?
All right, so you're going to play over 6 rounds, and then you are sending out your masters, which are basically your workers. It is a worker placement game, and you are taking different actions, whether those are, gaining money, attracting students to come to your dormitory. I'm not quite sure what the thing's called that sits in front of you. You can go and hire professors. You can activate those professors, and just other things in that regard. Some of the interesting things that you are doing is working up a track that's, I think, prestige-based. And based on where your ranking is, that is going to determine the value of your books. And then the value of your books is how you basically get those professors and students into your queue of things that you can ultimately utilize. You are doing that and collecting victory points in various ways. And I guess that's probably the best thematic way I can describe what is happening in Alma Mater.
Well, let's get to the table and come back with our thoughts on Alma Mater. All right, and we are back. Campbell, it's your first time at Dungeons Gate for a while.
Yeah, that's true.
Why don't you start us off?
Well, it looks like there's mostly different games on the consignment shelf than there were last time I was here, like a year and a half ago. But I think there's a couple I recognize.
There you go.
I miss being here. I can't wait to start playing board games with my homies again on Tuesdays. That was kind of like maybe like my core activity that I did every week, like as far as weekdays are concerned. I miss it. I also missed Alma Mater, which the last time I played, I was here, and I think it was with Jake. I think Jake.
It was me, you, Jared, and somebody else. I don't remember.
I played it was probably 3 years ago.
I can tell you the date, actually. Hold on.
I'm going to say it was 3 years and 1 month ago.
It was March 29th of 2022.
I'm very close.
You were very close. It was Dave Kopf was our other one.
So I was that we're looking at June and it was March, so I was 3 months off, right?
It's quite impressive.
I was 2 months off.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, wait, April, May. Yeah, so I'm 3 months off. That's a quarter of a year, so it's not actually that good. But then I think the time I'd played before that was like a couple years before that. I think this game came out
pandemic
during COVID, like 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 5 years old now. I love Coimbra. I liked that they reused art from Coimbra for Alma Mater, so that it's like
it's in the same universe,
the same characters.
Is the art reused? I was actually going to talk about like
time.
How much I like the art in this. So.
They literally use some of the same pictures from Coimbra to Alma Mater, if I remember correctly.
I'm not sure that that's true.
I think it's 100% true.
They look very similar.
It's definitely a very similar.
I think people look very similar.
I'll figure that out while you guys are talking, but I'm pretty sure that a couple of like the professors are literal cards from Coimbra.
Could be.
So we'll figure that out. Anyway, I like the way both those games look. I was excited for Alma Mater when I first played it. When Rob first told me about it before it came out, I remember being like, well, my life will finally have meaning when Alma Mater comes out. But yeah, I knew I was going to like it. I did like it, and I still like it. So there we go.
So kind of similar to one of the things Cam just alluded to, I very vividly remember seeing that this game was forthcoming on BGG, and that shows you the amount of time that I've been really deep into this hobby, and that feels interesting that it's, I mean, granted, it was even before that, but I remember seeing it on there. My first interaction I played with Rob, it was just the two of us, and I think Rob beat me by like 100 points because this game is punishing if you don't kind of understand what you're doing, but I did enjoy that play, and I've always just kind of held a soft spot for it, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to give Coimbra another shot, because I do have a positive opinion on this one, so.
This was my first time seeing the game, first time playing the game. I gotta say, it was an excellent experience. I'm super glad I snaked Cam's first round action. It set me up for the rest of the game.
It was hilarious. That was like, it was such an exciting, like we were all like complaining that like Rob said that he stepped on his own foot.
Yeah.
And then that really hurt. So
Something like that.
But no, this game is a ton of fun. Honestly, I would love to get this to the table again now that I've had the chance to play it through.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this, even 5 years ago, I knew I loved the Italian designers, and this came out after Coimbra. I mean, pretty close after Coimbra, I guess, and had to pick it up. It is, I don't know, it looks cool. It's got tracks. Campbell, did you confirm?
I did find the gray-haired lady. I think I don't think they use a lot of the same pictures again, but there's a gray-haired lady on the cover of the Coimbra box, and she is one of the professors in Alma Mater.
Now, here's a fun question for everybody else at the table who plays board games with me. Have I played Coimbra before? Because I've never heard of this game.
I don't think you've played Coimbra. Maybe in the Arkham
I don't
days.
think I've played with you. Because we didn't play Coimbra a whole lot, like, despite liking it at Gen Con when we played in 2018. All of the board boys really liked it except for Jake, or not Jake.
No, I didn't.
Josh.
I wasn't a board boy then.
Josh. Oh my God. We played that like at a bar at Gen Con, and he hated it.
Sorry, Jake, for joshing you.
I remember playing it at Arkham and was not a huge fan of it, but I did like it better upon coming back to it. So,
all right, well, let's hit some pros for Alma Mater.
The books. Like, do you know another game that has a mechanism like the books?
I don't think so. Plus, the book is just a really cool.
It's a good piece.
It's a nice component
because it's just a plastic molded looking book. I love them.
Yeah. So in this game, you make your own like personal resource. They're books of your color, and it represents like the work that you're putting out, like your studies, right? And you spend your books and other people's books to attract new students and to attract new like professors and to do a couple other things. And the whole game trades on people buying your books and you buying other people's books, and which books are considered to be the smartest books. And there's a track on the side of the board that you will go up, and like the further you get up the track, the more smarter your book is. And at the end of every round, you reorganize books by biggest brain to dumbest brain, and then like that has a huge effect on the next round of gameplay. So it's pretty. You can also like flood the market with your types of books, hoping that people will buy them from you because they're cheap. You can also be stingy with your books, hoping that people will buy them from you because they're rare. So it's a pretty fun little situation. It's like really kind of a Ameritrashy thing to throw into a Euro game that makes it like unique and more fun for it.
Yeah, you can also make your books like absolutely required by getting like the professors and making it the most like required resource for something. So you can like, there's a lot of things that if you just like, you don't have to think or stinker it, but like you can manipulate how valuable your books are really, really easily.
And if your books run out of the market, people still can buy them, but they're expensive. But I don't think you get the money if you don't have any of your own books to sell, right?
Right.
So it's like you kind of ride the line. I tried to keep my books kind of expensive over the course of the game, and every time I did that, like people stopped buying them. Although there was one turn where, and I did maybe win the game tonight because of this, that Rob bought every single one of my books. But I spent all game trying to make sure my books were like crucial. And
I needed them.
Yeah. And we all ended within like 6 points of each other.
I mean, that's the best part of the
really
game is just the player economy and how you have to you're jockeying for position on the books and just swapping around with each other. And I like that it's tied to that research track that's kind of like goal oriented. It's kind of like, okay, how do I move up to the next spot on the track? You got to take the action to actually do the bumps, but then you have to have the stuff to pay it or have met the requirements. And that track is variable every time, which is cool. There's a bunch of different cards for each slot.
Yeah.
So that track will be different every time.
That track is so much fun. And then there's actions to just get a free move, or you can pay for multiple moves. So there's kind of different angles that you can go at it. Another thing I think is I want to emphasize, based on what we just previously said, it is not all about being on the top of that track and having your books be valuable, because there are ways around that, where if you are making a lot of money, then you don't necessarily need your books to be the ones that are bought. But also, there's just so many lanes that you can lean into, and you fundamentally cannot do anywhere near the amount of things that you would want to do in this game. So it's really a matter of, what am I going to be able to accomplish that's going to be worth the most, that kind of aligns to the way that you're playing. I also really enjoy the way that the goal cards are set up in this game. So the 3 busts, because they are super challenging to strive for, but they give you some direction, and you can kind of lean into, hey, I think I'm going to go for this. And that kind of sets up your play. So if you're somebody who likes to have some kind of a goal to aim for, I think that it's a really nice way to do that, because by reaching those bust levels, you have to be doing well in the game. So just by kind of aiming at those, it puts you in a good position.
This is interesting. Philosophically speaking, I feel like Alma Mater is a good name for this game, because we did just look it up. It means nourishing mother, right? And I do feel like this game flips the modern college convention on its head by, like, you are a nourishing, like, you have to spend so much to be a good college and for, like, to try to get your students. And, like, this game is so expensive for you, the school. Whereas, like, modern college, you're like kind of like a vampire, sucking up money. So
I don't know, man. This game sucks up money too from you.
No, what I'm saying is the college sucks up money and gets it. And, like, in this, you give away so much to your students, and it's like, to be like a really prestigious college, you have to, like, go, like, spend a lot to earn your students and professors.
So we should do a modern take on this, the next step, and make it a full trilogy. And in that case, you just make egregious amounts of money, but you have to spend it all so you can still claim nonprofit status.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
no.
Work in a last will component where you just spend everything.
You just have a card that, like, that's your trust that you have for scholarships for the following year, and put like $2 billion in it. You're fine.
Oh, college.
One thing that we touched on that's a pro in this one for me is, I guess, 2 things. One is, we talked on replayability already a little bit, but because the professors are different, like, can be different every time you play, because the like different achievements that you have are different each time you play, and, like, the scoring track is different each time you play. I'm definitely using the wrong terminology here. It feels like you could play this game a lot of times and have a really different experience each time. And the second thing that's big for me that like really shone through in this game is theme. Like, some games, like some of our favorite games, are, you have cubes of different colors, you put your different colored cubes in this different way, and you trade one color cube for this other color cube. At no point in this game was I like, so what is this piece representing? What is this thing doing? It all felt very, very, like, on point. So very well integrated theme into the game as well.
Interestingly, Coimbra's theme is pretty painted on, and that's like the prequel, but I mean, like, you can still say, hey, here's what you're doing, and it makes sense according to the theme. But
I wonder how much the books make the difference in this, though. If they were actually cubes, how much less would you feel it? Probably a ton. Those books,
I think so too.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I think that the books go a long way.
They're one of the best pieces I've seen.
I really like the students. They all give you different stuff. I like how you can shoot hard for the students, or you can go really heavy into the professors, or you can do a little bit of both, just depending on how the setup is. This is a game where you have to tactically plan your moves due to the worker placement, which also, I mean, if you like worker placement, this is a solid worker placement game, but you can't do near everything when you're playing this game, right? So you're not going to get a bunch of professors and also fill out your board full of students.
Can confirm. Tried to do it, didn't work.
So Rob was looking, and he said that one time I got 193 points of this game. I do think that maybe tonight our setup was, like, a lot more painful than it normally is. Because I was going up that track and I was like, I do not remember it being this rough.
But it didn't feel like, I mean, it was my first play, but it didn't feel like it was impossible to get up that track either.
Well, it wasn't.
Like,
I got up the track.
Yeah. But like, it felt like this is a goal that you have to work towards, but not something that like I am sacrificing everything in this game to get up this track.
That's true. You were so rich, though.
Yeah, that's true. I did get really rich.
I think, you had a ability that gave you something awesome. Speaking of that, actually, I have two things I want to say there. One, the unique player powers that you start with, they are all so good if you lean into them. And so that makes it a lot of fun, too, because that kind of set up the way that you approach the game. But I just feel like maybe the reason I really like this game the most is just it's so hard to do anything. Like everything requires, I need to get this figured out to be able to do it. And it's not necessarily a game where you just take 2 or 3 turns to build your stuff up and then you spend it and you start over, because it's interconnected. And, in the ways that you're trying to attach those goals to move up the tracks and working towards those goals that are on the bus, and then what benefit you're going to get from getting some of those professors and then the abilities you get going forward. Like it's just really interconnected, but it just takes a lot of thought. It makes you feel smart, which is something that I think a lot of good games do.
Yeah, and it like you're absolutely right. It's planning and pivoting in this one because the worker placement's really tight, and like there's like shifting values of the books. So, and like it takes a long time to get a lot of books, and you need a lot of books to do everything. So like it's like build, buy, build, buy, build, buy. And so, and like all sorts of crazy stuff can happen in between. So it's not just like so many Euros, like, you can like so are about either like planning for something and then nobody can stop me from doing this, or planning for something and doing it at the opportune time. This one is like I better do this right when I can, like as soon as I can afford it. And like there were many times during the game where I had like this serious choice of, okay, I want to do this thing right now, but I think if I don't do this other thing, it's going to be gone. And like, I won the game tonight by the skin of my teeth, I think, because of a couple like really crucial timing choices. And that's just crazy. That's what makes games fun.
The setup is really unique too, in that you're drafting cards, and then there's for getting your first player, there's a point number, and so you go around and you look. You don't really know necessarily what other point values people have, but the higher the point value, the better the reward, but the higher probability you're going to go last, and then therefore choose last of your person. So there's a really fun interaction with the setup that I really enjoy as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess what you guys mentioned about it being like difficult and you feel good when you like do well and score points. There is the opposite of that too, where this could be difficult for people, or people might not like it because it's a lot of hard work to get where you need to go.
And sometimes you don't really get anything that great from your hard work,
yeah,
right away.
You could.
Hey, that's college.
I mean, I've seen some games where people just do not score well in this game at all.
There is very much a failure to launch possibility.
Yeah,
that
you
comes
definitely
out of this.
can. But on the upside, there's a lot of end game points in this one, and I think they're not hidden. Like, first of all, they're on your player board. The game has really good iconography, I think, for the most part.
Yeah,
especially like your steps and what you do in a round, and then what's on your player board, and just even all the people. And for the most part, you can figure out what does what. And the rule book does a really good job of explaining the rules, I think, and it has a good appendix in the back. But at least the end game scoring isn't like, I don't feel like it's arbitrary. It's all stuff you want to be doing anyway. It's students you're getting and professors you're getting and going up that track, right? And like some of them like are multipliers. And so just if the better you do overall at the game, you're going to score points at the end. So as long as you're playing the game, you're going to get end game points, which is where a majority of your points come from.
There was a moment of panic when I started the game when you're like picking your cards that I'm like, it very much like right away was real that you're like, oh, if I pick wrong on these, there is a better than even chance that I'm going to basically be locked out of this game. And it was like 2.5 hour play. So like I could be sitting here for the next 2.5 hours, 80 points behind everybody else. I got lucky, but like, yeah, that definitely was something that came to front of mind when I started playing.
That's something that I want to say when we do cons specifically. And again, I guess it's probably more of a prawn, but I very much have seen that in almost all of my plays where somebody just didn't make the decisions that led to them being successful. And so that is definitely something that, it's a challenge. And I think the people who strive to rise above that are really, really going to enjoy it. But it very much could leave a bad taste in your mouth too if you just you never got off the ground and you just got, wailed on by everybody else.
I also don't think we got any of them, but I think there's some professors kind of have a take that element too to some of the players.
They might. Coimbra has a lot of take that.
Yeah, I know I think there's some professors. Tonight, our layout did not have any of that, but I'm fairly confident that there's some take that as far as the professors go.
I think that a couple other things I want to mention too. I think the way that points are a resource in this is very interesting, and Coimbra does the same thing. So, there's a crossover there, but, you don't necessarily score a ton of points. And in the fact that Cam mentioned earlier that we were all within 6 points, but, and I think all of us gave up comparable amounts, but I gave up 9 points to move up that track, which ultimately moving up that track didn't help me that much because my books were trash by the end of the game. And so you think about that, and at the time it might seem worth it, but there really is a decision to be made of how much do I want to go into that or do I not want to do that? And that could have very much made the difference for any of us in this game.
But you utilize that really effectively too, because you can't go below 0 points in this game.
Yes.
And I think there was one point where you would have been at -7 or 8 points.
I think it was -9.
Yeah.
Because I was at 0 and I had skipped through things a couple times.
So it definitely worked out to play it the way you did as well. It helped you as well in that regard. Because you're doing it early.
Yep. I think also the other thing I want to mention is that I think the player order for getting turn order for the next round is kind of neat in that it's not something that's just going to willingly move automatically. You need to take an action that sets yourself up for it. And you can kind of hedge by going there early in your turn because that'll win you one of the tie breaks. But it's also a way that you make money. And I like those two being interacted because sometimes when it's purely just doing something for player order and there's no other benefit, I don't always love that a ton of games. But it's nice that also can set you up for the things that you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I really like the unique player powers in this too. They feel like kind of like Marco Polo, where they're impactful, and it's like everyone always feels like everyone else has a good power.
Yep.
So it's like, oh, you could do that, and you can do that.
And it informs anything
fun.
that informs the way you play the game makes it easier to succeed from the very beginning. And there's just something comfortable and lovable about having your own special thing right from the beginning of a game.
Well, we've kind of broached the subject already, but we ready to branch into cons?
Oh, there are no cons. This game's perfect. No, I'm just
so I just want to reiterate again. It can leave a bad taste in your mouth if you don't get off the ground. So I think this is definitely a game that you should play at least twice before you really make your mind up on it.
Or it's definitely. I had to do everything in my power not to AP every moment of this game, and I took a couple long turns, but we actually played it pretty fast.
I think we were just under 2 hours for the 4-player game of this, which that's pretty standard for a 4-player Euro.
Right.
Yeah,
but I could see this one being much longer than 2 hours.
It could.
Yeah, I think another con is there's special rules for 2 players, so it's probably more like a 3 or 4 because of the book economy. You kind of have to have a dummy player to play with 2. So
I think there is.
We already had one dummy player at the table.
Heyo.
There is a solo variant as well. I have not tried. I think that's what the Ignatius cards are, but I wonder how that operates. But that'd be even stranger because you really only have the one book resource. So I don't exactly know how that would work, but there's a whole deck of cards for it.
Cons.
I don't really have much more than what we already kind of mentioned.
Yeah.
With the pros, really.
I don't know. This is probably a prawn in its own right, but and this is just a tactical game. So again, if you know that that's something going in, then that can help inform your decision about it. But there definitely was a few times where Cam might have went to a spot that Rob had built up everything to do, but then Rob didn't have enough meeples anymore because if a spot's covered, you have to have an extra person. So if you are somebody who really loves just that strategic play and don't like that people can get in the way, that could also be something that you struggled with. But again,
that's just worker placement though, and it's not like it totally locks down the spots. In this scenario, it was mostly because it was at the very end of the game. Yeah. To me, the game has some tactical play to it, but this is one of those games where because the board is completely randomized and is nowhere near the same every time except for the students, you're going to look at the goals, you're going to look at the professor, you're going to look at all the things, and you're going to try to form some kind of strategy to the end of the game, probably, which I don't do that very often. But if you want to be good at this game, that's probably what you do. And so there is a grand overall strategy. Whether or not people get in your way to make that happen, I don't know.
Right.
But every game you can kind of look ahead and be like, okay, well, if I grab that because that, and then there's that end game scoring thing over there, and you kind of find your path.
I think that you could pretty easily, if you know how to play the game, set, hey, I'm going to get all the busts. I'm going to fill my students. I'm going to get 5 professors, or I'm going to get to the top of this track. I think you can do one of those pretty much every time. But where I think it gets hard is, in order to really do well, you have to accomplish other stuff too.
Yeah, you have to, it feels like you have to do 2 things really well to be in it, and a third thing okay. And there are like 5 things you can do.
Yeah.
So like it requires some focus on what you're doing. And yeah, if you have somebody who's going down the exact same road at the exact same speed you are, you might get locked out.
Yeah. I do kind of think maybe you have to do one thing really well and a couple things pretty well.
Yeah, that's fair.
Although, I think I didn't realize until the end of the game that you score your position on the book track times your professors. I do think that might be the advanced strategy of the game, is just try to get to the top of the book track and get a bunch of professors and skip the students. Because
you can get a boatload of points if you get all those students,
especially
if you're getting the pie ones that give you the end game scoring plus the multiplying
that's true.
of the things there.
Yeah, I mean the students are cool, and they're a multiplier between the A and B row.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the professors give you extra turns and actions. I think it's almost necessary.
Professors are definitely more expensive, though,
They're
because
super
there's dollar
expensive.
and books.
Yeah.
But professors don't necessarily cost dictionaries, which are hard to get. But they can be easy to get depending on how the game goes.
Every professor except the bottom 2 requires 4 different types of books. But I guess you're right. That doesn't require
3 for the second
That's
row.
3 and 3 and 4 and 4.
3 and okay.
Yeah.
But they do get more expensive as you go too. And honestly, if you're racing somebody on professors, this was the strategy I played, right? I wanted to beat people to the cheap professors because then they have to buy my books. That's what I was alluding to before. Yeah. And I kept my books out there cheap, but I didn't have to do that. That was just an ability that my guy had. I could have locked out a lot of professors pretty quickly if I
You can't lock them, but it makes them expensive.
Yeah, it would have been very time intensive to get professors.
But then you don't get money.
Exactly, and I wanted the money.
Then you don't get money.
That's what I want.
Any other cons?
All right, let's hit our final thoughts here on the Board Boys podcast.
College is a scam.
We have a 3 Boeing rating scale, 0 being the worst, 3 being the best. One time you can give your 4 Boeing game. Half Boeings are allowed. I think a 0 Boeing game of Alma Mater is...
When here
All
comes
debt,
the
no
ball
degree.
stepper murderer.
You had to be here for that one. I would say your university tanks and does not get funded, and you don't have any students. And
You
it's
lose
all
your
bad.
accreditation.
Yeah, you lose your Phoenix Online or whatever that is.
Trump you.
Trump you.
Brigham Young, Kanye University. Brigham Young's actually accredited though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely.
The 3 Boeing game is you are, I don't know.
You fill that whole dormitory, and you're getting all those professors into your space.
All of them. And then you're, I don't know, what's a really good university? You're like Harvard.
MIT.
I would say University.
Oxford.
University of Northern Iowa.
Louisiana Tech. That's for our Louisiana crew.
Yeah.
Actually, they're in Lafayette. They're the...
I was going to say Louisiana, Lafayette, but hey.
Yeah. All right. You know what? I'll go first.
The School of Hard Knocks. That's a good university.
For me, Alma Mater, I really like it. I don't play it often enough. Tonight we were deciding whether to play this or Arborea. Ultimately, we went with Alma Mater because Coimbra was a look back, and I think it's kind of funny that we're doing old games in episode 2 of seasons.
Yeah. I like Danny Garcia, but I'm so happy we played a Italian Bros game instead of a Danny Garcia game tonight.
I will say Arborea does not feel like a Danny Garcia game
No, I was kind of curious because you haven't played it yet. So.
I haven't. I'm looking forward to it. And here's the thing. I like Danny Garcia. I don't love Danny Garcia the way some of you guys do.
All right. Well, anyway, Alma Mater. It's a 2.5 Boeing for me still. I had it at an 8.5 on BGG from years ago, and I think it's probably in that same zone. It was funny. Jake and I were like, oh yeah, we're probably just going to remember how to play this game. And kind of, but we had to zip through the rules real quick, but it didn't take us much to get up and going, I don't think, and it came back into the brains, and we taught a new person, so...
Hold on real quick. I want to interject one more con I meant to say and I forgot. I think this is mostly just in the fact that it's a little bit older, but there are not a lot of great on the board reminders of a couple little things. So for instance, like rotating your books around. That's so easy to forget. And I forgot that constantly.
Yeah,
and then that component can flip upside down. And did I have it not flipped, which is weird, but also just how much income you get. I think that should be on your dorm. I mean, it's just kind of confusing in the fact that each book is $1, but then there's dollar amounts on top of them.
Yeah.
Like there's just some confusion stuff that a player aid in today's game, you probably would have one. I think that would go a long way.
Yeah, there definitely should be a player aid that was not involved here. So
yeah, but again, 5 years ago.
And I will say that the other thing for me would be that you always play with all the same students, so there's not really any variability there, but there is a mini expansion called New Students, and you basically play with those instead. I think I've only played with those one time, but it's kind of a nice change of pace. So at least there's two different sets of students. It's fairly inexpensive, and I would like to say, pretty sure this game is still in print and fairly cheap.
I think it's super cheap.
Yeah, I always see it on sale, so don't be afraid to pick up Alma Mater.
I'm trying to think of some of my three favorite games where Gigli, Virginio Gigli, is part of one of my very favorite games of all time, Grand Austria Hotel. But Gigli works with Brasini a lot. And then these other guys, Luperto and Tinto, are kind of like, they're kind of bench warmers for the Italian bros. They're still great designers in their own right. But I'm trying to think of like the three games that I love by these guys. It's going to be Lorenzo, Il Magnifico, Coimbra, and Alma Mater. And I almost
want
to add Golem in there. No, Barrage is Luciani, and these guys aren't on Barrage, are they?
No. Oh, Golem's my favorite.
Golem is
a good game.
Golem
is a
rules.
really good game.
But I just read a book about Golem.
But the Luch is on Golem, so that's kind of not fair, right?
Yeah.
The Luch is on Golem.
Yeah, I mean, they all just... In some different combination, they're on a lot of different
without
things.
Luch power, but is Luciani's on Lorenzo as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
So let's just say, do I like Alma Mater better than Coimbra? Yes. Can I get it to the table more than Coimbra? Probably not, because Coimbra is faster and easier to teach. But I still think this game is like a hard granite, smoothly polished 3 for me. I love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can go next. So I remember I've had some growing pains and back and forth with Coimbra, and I did settle on the fact, spoiler alert for the next thing we're going to talk about, but I still enjoy Coimbra more than I did before, but I've always just liked this one better, and I just like my games to hurt a little bit, and this game...
That's what I like too, you're right.
This game just feels like it hurts in a good way the whole time. I'm going to give it a 2.5, but I'm honestly close to giving it a 3, but I'm going to hit it at a 2.5.
It's the pain. You're 100% right. I like to be mad at games, personally.
It hurts so good.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I didn't feel that pain the way you guys are describing it. And it's probably because I had a really lucky first play.
You have so much money.
I did. But I actually don't love when I'm in pain the whole time I play a game. So here's how I thought I was going to rate things. Because, I don't use the Boeing scale very often. If I'm doing community college grading, where 90 is an A, 80 is a B, 70 is a C, and so on, and 100 would be a 4-boinger. So if this is an A game, which I think this is an A game, that's 3 boings.
Yeah, 3 boings is an A game.
Wow.
We're very high on this.
I guess.
Good thing Tim's not here. He would have thrown like a 1 in.
I don't.
That's because the one time he played it, he scored like 20 points.
Yep.
Where my 3 comes from, I think, on this one is that if I'm going to take, add games to a shelf or take games off a shelf, a lot of times what I'm thinking about is what does this one do that other ones don't do? And this one does a lot that other ones don't do.
Yeah, it has books.
That book track of going up the books is super, that's unique. And the trading of books is unique. I can't think of another game that has those two things the way they do them in this and that. For me, that's just absolutely stunning.
I mean, also on that same note, though, how often is there a track of pain that exists on the whole side of the board?
That's what I like about it.
Research, baby. All right, Campbell, hit us with a theme song for the Board Boys Bump or Dump.
Baby, turn around. I wanna see that sexy board game go. Board Boys Bump.
Or Dump. All right. Well, as we've mentioned previously, we're bumping and dumping Coimbra, which is also by Eggert Spiel and the same designers, etc. So
Dump.
it is an older game.
You know what? I'm going to say what it deserves.
Dump.
It was a 7.6.
Dump.
It is still a 7.6. It did dump from 231 to 250 because
Recency bias.
10,000 games come out a
Yep.
year or whatever. So
Which means that, like, if 10,000 games come out a year and this game came out in 2000, well, when did we do it on the podcast?
but so you are
1 year
last year. So Campbell, you were in the minority. Coimbra is a higher rated game than Alma Mater.
Yes, I would have guessed so.
Yeah.
And I think I gave Coimbra a 2.5. I don't think I gave it a 3 on the podcast.
I just think, like you said, Alma Mater is a little harder to get into than Coimbra. So
right.
probably-
It's way crunchier. And Coimbra is, don't get me wrong, you got to make some choices. And Coimbra has like some pain too, whereas you only get a certain amount of action. Like you get very few actions in Coimbra. This is 6 rounds. And yeah, I mean, but I don't know. Alma Mater's like, it's just got that juice.
I was always waiting for them to drop like the third one in this trilogy with like in the same art style. And
With
it
the same art.
Duology instead.
just never happened.
It's coming.
I mean, it's been 5 years.
2027.
Gen Con release this
All
year.
right. So let's go to the Board Boys Guild on BGG. You can get there from our website or you can also get there from the Discord. And I post things in the Discord once in a while with links to the guild, and you can give us your feedback and your boing ratings so you can be heard on the cast. Let's start off with BJ from Board Game Gumbo. He says, still some of my most favorite artwork ever. I played it again last year, and although it has been surpassed by Tilitum as my favorite of the Italian Euro designs, it's still a solid 2.5 boings for me.
BJ.
I would have given it a 4, but Jeremy Thoman would just edit it out of this podcast. I don't think he knows how our podcast works. Christopher Boat says it would be at least a 3-boinger if the cards were balanced. The direct attack cards are overpowered at 4 players and useless at 2 players. Also annoying at every player count. If they had just released an expansion with more cards, you wouldn't be forced to see the same cards every game. Great dice drafting mechanic that needs more balancing, 2 boings. Oh, that's my bad. When I mentioned earlier I had read his thing, and I just double checked. Alma Mater doesn't have any take that.
I agree
stuff.
with the Boatman on his negs on Coimbra. I think that's why I like Alma Mater better.
Yeah, the expansion they released was that goofy extra dice thing, which is like whatever. Rob Cooper says a fine game with some fine mechanics, improved by the addition of groovy little dice castles. They are groovy. But the interactive parts where you can negatively affect other players seem oddly out of place in a game like this. Like they're bolted on as an afterthought. Overall, a weak 2 boing or a strong 1.5.
Wow.
Would need to play again.
The Coop Man.
Yeah, people don't like attacking in Euros.
Yeah.
Go figure.
But Ichabod loves attacking in other games, which is, I'm always playing like PAX games with him.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening to another episode of the Board Boys podcast, season 17, episode 2, Alma Mater. Go to theboardboys.com for all the cool links. You can hit our social media. You can help support us via the Patreon link there, or join the Discord and come talk to us and play some BGA games. You can give us 5 stars on iTunes and Spotify, help get the word for the Board Boys out there even farther as I'm filling time to find my list of patrons.
Can we take a quick moment of silence to acknowledge that had we still used different songs instead of our own music, would have Cam played Graduation by Vitamin C at the end of the song or episode?
Ooh.
No, I would have done...
School's
I
out.
think I would have done the Hot Stepper because I mentioned Rob being the Ball Stepper. And then I think I also would have done maybe a Coolio song.
Was School's
Okay.
Out by Alice Cooper
That's true.
Oh.
Maybe
too
we
on
need
the
that to be a
nose.
segment at the end of the
Here
podcast
comes the Ball
now.
Stepper, murderer.
The songs Cam suggests you listen to
Yeah, suggested
after our
listening.
podcast.
To get in the mood.
All right. Our patrons, I'd like to thank them now. BJ from Board Game Gumbo, Timothy Crisco, Shifty Teeth, Jordan Smith, Andre Bosch, Braden Dowdy, Rob Cooper, Richard Lane, Matt Kelly, Portland Gamecraft, Terry Ward, and Jeremy Thoman.
You know what I did just think of?
Yes.
If I ever
Actually,
get back...
no.
If I ever... You don't know what I did.
Yeah.
If I ever get back to actually making playlists for each game we do on the podcast, I'm not kneecapped into... or I'm not, whatever they call it. I'm not bound to hamstrung. I'm not bound to use the songs I used in the podcast inside the playlist anymore. So now I can get more free with it.
Perfect.
So there we go.
If there was one thing I thought before, it was that you're too constrained with the music selection that you had.
Okay, I just want to throw this out there. I am so good at making podcasts. or not podcast playlist, that podcast, yeah.
Man, look at that
Plug.
flex.
Playlists. I'm so good at making playlists. Like, I am so good at being like going, here's the theme of this playlist, and making surgical cuts out of like this doesn't fit enough, and like being like, Cam, what's the theme for this one? I'll be like only German rock that came out in 1982. You know, not it's not really that crazy, but I just feel like I'm pretty good at it.
I do like the Cam playlists for sure.
Hey, Joe, thanks again for joining
Big
us.
Merc.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. And until next time, we hope you like board games.
Boing, 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 baby!